Hey everyone, welcome back to class and to today's flow that focuses on our glutes and our lower back. When you're ready, let's begin in a seated position, and you're going to bring the soles of your feet to your mat, so they're just 3 feet or so away from your hips. Resting your hands behind you, taking your feet nice and wide to the width of your mat, and we're just going to start by letting the knees knock to one side. Then come back to center and knock to the other side. So just like windscreen wipers, just finding a little bit of movement into the hips here, into the joints. Easing ourselves into our practice today. We're going to be staying quite low to the floor with this practice today, so a nice soft flow. And then coming back to center and making your way all the way down to lying on your back. You're going to keep the soles of your feet to the mat and hug your right knee in towards your chest, so giving it that nice big squeeze in towards you. Sliding your right hand now down towards the outer edge of your foot. We're going to open up into a half happy baby. So just bring that knee out wide to the side. Sole of the foot faces the ceiling. Now, if it's not accessible for you to grab hold of the foot here, you could grab hold of the calf or the shin or even the inner thigh. So just seeing what's accessible for you today. Breathing there. Relaxing that lower back as best as you can, releasing any of that tension. Good, then bring yourself back to center, squeeze that right knee back in towards the chest. Take an interlace behind the right thigh, and as you inhale, lengthen your right leg towards the ceiling. Don't worry if you've got a slight bend in the knee here. See how you go. To take it a bit deeper, you can always slide that interlace up towards your calf. Again, just see what's accessible in your practice today. And think about pressing your right heel away from you, flexing the toes towards you, give you a bit more of a stretch into the calf. And then releasing the foot back down to the mat. And we'll swap sides. So squeeze the left knee in towards you. Slide the hand down to the outer edge of the foot, opening up into that half happy baby again. Taking any of those options on this side that you might have taken on the other side. Seeing if you can send your breath as you exhale all the way down to your lower back area, just allowing it to soften, allowing it to release. Good, then bring yourself back to center, squeeze the left knee into the chest, take an interlace with the hands behind the thigh as you lengthen the left leg tall to the ceiling. Flexing those toes towards you, pressing the heel away. And then bend into the left knee, soles of the feet come down to the mat nice and gently. And roll yourself onto the side of your body so that you can push yourself up to seated and make your way to a tabletop position. So hands are going to come underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Good, and we're going to come into some cat-cow movements. As you inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the heart. Chin to chest, press through the hands, spine goes away. So just rolling through a few more rounds of these movements here. As you inhale, really thinking about drawing the shoulder blades down the back and together. And as you exhale, really breathing some space between them. Making this your last one. Bring yourself back to neutral and come to child's pose. So send the hips heavy to the heels. Forehead comes down here. And just keeping this child's pose nice and active. So lifting up through the forearm, the upper arm, and reaching those fingertips forwards. I find this feels really nice into the shoulders, the sides of the body. Full breath here. Inhale, lift the head up and walk your fingertips over towards the right hand side. Exhale, soften yourself back down to your thigh as you creep the left fingertips away. Inhale, lift the head, come back to center. Walk over towards the left hand side. And exhale, soften yourself back down, creeping the right fingertips away this time. Lifting your head as you come back to center. Make your way back to all fours and bring your belly all the way down to your mat. Make a little pillow for your forehead to rest on, resting it onto the hands, pointing into the toes and squeezing the legs together here. So you're engaging your glutes as well. As you inhale, we're going to lift the right foot up off the mat. And instead of seeing how high you can lift that right foot here, see how much length you can find by reaching it away from you at the same time. And then lower it back down, swapping sides, lifting the left foot up, squeezing the glutes, the inner thighs, and then lowering down. Just keep on going at your own pace now. Keep swapping, lifting one foot at a time. Nice, small, careful movements. Good, make this your last one. Lower your feet back down to the mat and just give the hips a little wiggle here from side to side. Sliding your hands by your ribs, making your way back to all fours. And then taking a child's pose, keeping the knees together on this one. So resting the forehead down, maybe sending the hands back to cup the heels if that feels good. And just start to stretch the back out the other way. Lifting your head, coming back up to all fours, tucking your toes, and we'll come to downward facing dog. So sending those hips up and back as you press through the hands, giving the hips a little wiggle from side to side. Bending into the knees, bobbing up and down. Just doing some nice movements here to get you into downward facing dog. Good, taking a nice full breath there. And then just starting to walk your feet towards the center of your mat. You're going to take your feet nice and wide, so heels face in, toes face out. And drop yourself down to your malasana, your yogi squat. So you can use those hands to help you here. Don't worry if you're up on the balls of your feet. Maybe you're sinking down quite low, then seeing if you can lift yourself up. We're going to send the right hand across towards the left ankle. As you inhale, swoop the left arm over. And then coming back to center, we'll swap sides. Inhale, right arm over. Exhale, come back to center. Good. Lower yourself all the way down to seated on your mats. Lengthen your left leg out nice and long, crossing your right foot over. You're going to drop your top knee down so they're on top of each other. Option to stay in this position with the bottom leg lengthened. If you feel like you've got a big gap in between, then just grabbing hold of your block or book and sliding it underneath for a bit of support. Or you could bend into the bottom knee as well, taking it a bit deeper, stacking both your knees on top of one another and having the feet either side of our hips. Sitting up nice and tall, taking an inhale. This could be enough for today, staying in this space, in this area. Might be getting enough of a stretch into that glute and the outer hip. Or if you want to take it deeper as you exhale, creeping those fingertips forwards. Breathing there, Taking 2 more breaths. And as you inhale, make your way back up to seated. Lengthening the bottom leg out nice and long. If you're not there already, bring the sole of the foot to the mat, keeping it crossed over the thigh. Right hand comes behind. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, wrap the arm around the knee, taking a twist round to the right. Exhale, release, come back to center. And we'll just swap sides, just do a little counter twist round to the left. And then releasing, coming back to center. Uncrossing your legs, lengthen that right leg out long now and we'll swap sides. So crossing that foot over your bottom thigh, stacking the knees on top of one another again, option 1 or option 2, bending into both of the knees. Using your props here as you need. Inhale, sitting up nice and tall. This could be enough. I'm going to stay here today as this side's quite a bit tighter for me. To take it deeper, just walking those fingertips forwards. Checking back in with that breath. Taking some nice long inhales. Soothing exhales. Taking another full breath. And then starting to walk yourself back up to seated. Lengthening that bottom leg out long if you're not there already. Left hand comes behind. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twisting round towards the left hand side. Exhale, release, come back to center. Take that brief counter round towards the right. Keeping that length in the spine. Exhale, release, come back to center. Unravel your legs. Bring both soles of the feet to the mat, having them a couple of feet away from your hips. Hands come behind you, fingertips facing towards you. As you inhale, press down through your foundations. Lift up through the hips. Keep that gaze going forwards. Squeezing your glutes and your inner thighs. Nice full inhale here. And as you exhale, we're going to softly, slowly, gently lower all the way back down to the mat. Lengthening your legs out nice and long. Have a slight gap in between so you can rest your fingertips down. Inhale, lengthen, and as you exhale, just softening yourself forwards to where feels good. Softening your head and your neck. And I just want you to relax the spine here. So don't think about, keep on reaching forward, see how much length you can find in the spine. So don't worry if there's a curve in it, just allow yourself to soften. Just relaxing here for a moment, taking 2 more breaths. Inhale, make your way back up to seated and coming down to lying on your back. Keep the soles of the feet to the mat. We're going to cross the right ankle over the left thigh. So option 1 is to come into your reclined pigeon. So you could stay here, you could draw the knee into the chest and take an interlace. Or option 2, you could come into your shoelace by sliding that top leg all the way over your bottom leg. You can draw your knees in towards your chest and grab hold of them, or slide your hands down to your shins or the outer edges of your feet. So a couple of options there. Both are going to stretch into your glutes and your outer hips, so just taking what feels most comfortable for you. Relaxing your forehead and your cheeks, releasing any tension that you might be clinging onto in your jaw. Good. As you exhale, slowly release. You're going to unravel your legs. And we'll swap sides across the left ankle over the right thigh. Maybe it stays here, you take a reclined pigeon, or maybe you're coming into that shoelace again, sliding the leg all the way over. So just taking any of those options that you took on the last side on this side. If it feels good to close down your eyes for a moment, you can. Exhale, slowly release. Unravel the legs, both soles of the feet to the mat. Then we're going to lengthen both of the legs towards the ceiling here. Now, here's where you might want to grab hold of your block or your book. If you want to just slide it underneath your lower back area, if you've got one, then you can. It can feel quite nice to feel a bit elevated before you lengthen those legs up to the ceiling. But don't worry if you haven't got one, you can still just send them up to the ceiling. Start to let the blood flow the other way. Relaxing into the toes. You can relax your arms out nice and wide or to your stomach. Whatever feels right. This can be a really nice release into the lower back as well. And then bending into the knees as you lower the soles of the feet back down to the mat. Removing any props from underneath and just sliding yourself onto the side of your body and rolling yourself all the way over onto your belly. So onto your belly, onto your mat. Bring yourself to your forearms. We're going to come into a half frog here. So you can make a pillow for your forehead to rest on now. And you can slide that left knee out towards the left-hand side. So it's in a nice long line with the hip, knee in line with the ankle. Resting the forehead down. And just really try to soften into your hips, relaxing your back, releasing your glutes if you're tensing onto them still. Then we're going to slide that left leg back in and swap sides, sliding the right leg out towards the right hand side. And then sliding that right leg back in behind you. Closing down your eyes, just taking a nice full breath in. And out. Please feel free to stay here for as long as you wish, as long as you need. Thank you so much for practicing with me today.